Ready, spaghetti. 1, 2, 3. Ready, spaghetti. Ready, spaghetti. Oh, it cut me off there. Ready, spaghetti. Okay, that sounds a little bit better, I guess. Alright, I'm ready. Ready, I'm ready. Oh my gosh! You missed the ready spaghetti! It's okay. Yeah, at least you made it for the SpongeBob. I didn't even know he had a challenge for a dragon. I was there for a couple of hours in the beginning, but because he started streaming so late, he started streaming at 9 p.m. my time, I didn't really get to stay very long. This is another Artfight attack. This is the OC of a friend of mine, Mako Shard. What's funny is I think Mako Shard's drawn me like 2 things, or a couple of things, but I haven't drawn him anything, like ever. So, this is my opportunity. This is the month of Art Hanukkah that I have to draw him a gift because, well, basically everybody I've not drawn a gift yet gets a gift, kinda, sort of, if they're on Artfight. Basically, I'm just gonna make this dude so buff and just so ripped. Just absolutely bulging or whatever in the upper body, perhaps. That's kind of how the group of friends I have on the other side of things like to draw. They like to draw everything extremely muscled, like the character designs are straight out of the 90s. Which is understandable, because that's like the bulk of cartoons, right? Extreme dinosaurs, street sharks. No, it's just like that, Ninja Turtles. I am kind of, since I'm interested in a lot of things, I'm kind of just, I'm in various communities, so, every community has its kind of own culture. It's kind of like how I have a chunk of friends who only draw monsters. And then, you know, I have a chunk of friends who draw a lot of buff anthros and stuff. And then I have a smaller group of friends who only draw human OCs doing slice of life things. The occasional elf, goblin, mermaid, vampire stuff. Oh, and werewolves. I have a chunk of friends who do werewolf stuff. They are kind of part of the monster group though, like in my head. I really think I should fill the frame with this guy, though. I honestly don't think he's filling the frame enough. Like, even if his body touches the edges of the canvas, I just need to make him look more intimidating and impressive. Let's see. Oh yeah, on top of it, you are aware that some of my friends like to paint and do traditional art and things like that. That's a much smaller group though. I'm kind of on the outskirts. I don't even feel all that painterly. It's kind of like the situation where I can do it, so I do it. Looks like he's got a little bit of teeth serration here. His ears, his horns are kind of giving me a Dragonheart vibe here. Even though it was like before their time. So the weird thing about like having friends that are like 20 something years old, that kind of means in the 2000s they were like munchkins? They were like little guys. Roly-polies. And they have no idea what happened like in the 10 years preceding their birth or whatever, and that's like the funniest thing to me. I'm gonna pretend this guy sounds like Liam Neeson when he talks. Even though I know they're probably going for a Chris Hemsworth look. I can kind of tell. It kind of looks like Chris Hemsworth. You know, like if he was a dragon. I think the funniest feature of drawing an extremely buff character is like the bigger they are, the smaller their eyes look. Like squinty. Cause there's too many muscles. They got so much bodily mass there. There's no room for their eyes. By the way, that's an excellent trick to make anything look bigger. Just make the eyes smaller. Make the eyes bigger, well, then they might as well be like butterfly sized or something. Because like bugs have huge eyes. Yeah. In relation to the rest of their body, bugs have huge eyes. With maybe the exception being a few breeds of spider. Just saving my file. The song is terrible. these luxurious locks of hair. Kind of like flocks of eagles or something. Let me think. Who else had long locks of hair like this? Farrah Fawcett. There we go.
What can I say? I'm here to stay. Taking care of basic needs. A king size of the beat. Oh, I have, there's nothing left for me. I have power. Oh, I have big whenever I can. When you understand power, I have a real good time.
I wonder if I made his hands too small. Oh, hand. Oh my gosh, his hand is small. But would it be foreshortening? I wonder what would happen if I made this slightly bigger. Just did an itty bitty little bit. Maybe smaller than that. Okay, that's good. Probably do something about this leg and extend it though. So when I was a kid, there was like this book called How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. And inside it there was an example for like how to draw this and that to make it more dynamic. And they were like, this is how the pose looks naturally. This is not very exciting. And then they're like, this is it, the pose, exaggerated. And I was like, oh, guess I have to actively think about this all the time. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Kind of means I have to do the kill and then shrink the back leg though. You know how in the animes they take the Stan Lee advice of the dynamicism really like far. I think it's hilarious. So what I'm gonna do is move this bit. And I am going. Oh yeah, there we go. Now with a free transform check mark, I can actually like deform the leg a bit, and I'll do the same to the back leg. Ah, looks like my friends are following me on Mastodon. Oh yeah. Probably do the same thing with that one over there. Just a tad bit. Pretty good. Think Stanley would be proud? I think so. Which is kind of funny because I don't think he was like really responsible for any of the drawings in the book. He was just writing about it, and then someone else did the drawing, of course. But I wonder about that. How much direction he had with the art. I don't know who this artist is, but he sure likes to deep fry himself. Crunchy. Should probably make his back foot a little bit pointy. Like he's wearing fancy loafer or something. What are they called? Yeah, those funky Italian shoes. You know how superhero feet look? Sometimes they're just, from far away, they're just like barely foot-shaped. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna find out who this particular artist is. Okay, so it's sunsets. Hello? Oh, my sound is all jacked. 1, 2, 3. Okay, sounds good. Oh, crap. Every time my earbuds get tapped, they turn off. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I'm lost. Oh, hello, hello. How you doing? Message wasn't sent. Try again. Good, good. Just ate a potato, had some water, and now time for art. How am I doing? I'm alright. Drawing my friend Mako Shard's OC here. He doesn't really stream that often to the public. He mostly streams privately on his Discord server. I think on his Discord server, what happens is they all get into voice chat and they all share screens or something so that they can see what each other is drawing. I guess I should choose a day to do something like that. Like off stream so that people don't feel, what do you call it? Too bashful to be in the public eye on Twitch. I was in a few servers where they all do that. They all just sit in voice chat and they share screens. They don't like to do the thing that I'm doing. Because I guess the formality. However, in my opinion, I might as well be like a hot dog seller on the corner under an umbrella. You could, like, stand next to me eating a hot dog. Talk about it. And then because, you know, it's my hot dog stand, I will also reach into a hot dog water and grab myself a little something to nibble. Like, to me, I'm just outside. I think other people think of it as, like, being on stage or something. Woo, scary. I am on stage. I'm being gawked at. Oh no, did I remember to put on pants? And I remember my lines, like, no. I guess another time I also use the analogy of like being in a cafe or a coffee shop and I'm at a table drawing and you can wander over and you can see what I'm up to. We can hang out a little bit. You could join me, or you could like wander away because you just got your coffee and off you go, you know. But yeah, stage fright, anxiety, that's like all a thing, I guess. There are actually some Twitch artists who will do the sketching off stream. They might even do part of the inking, you know. And then when everything looks right, they will, you know, go online. But me personally, like, I don't care. Sometimes I just don't feel well, right? And if my sketch looks extra sloppy, my sketch looks extra sloppy. It's a sketch. I'm not even gonna worry about it.
What can I say? It's a space.
I think it's better to present oneself realistically. You've only ever streamed 4 times, and it's been over a month since your last one. Every time you think about it, you're like, yeah, I know. When I first began streaming, there was actually like more of us, quote quote. Eventually, it seems to be that I am the last man standing. The others streamed for a time, but then eventually burned out. I think it's kind of like driving, where you have to like concentrate on the road, and that level of concentration, it's hard to keep up. It makes you tired, even though you're not moving very much, or just exerting pressure on the pedal. You have to pay attention to this, pay attention to that. I feel like when I look at all these dockers and tools and things and what they do. Kind of like that. But, you know, I've learned a number of things from Woadworm. Like, he was one of the first Twitch streamers I began watching. And I think maybe a month in, or 2 months in, maybe 3. Because it took me at least 3 months to make affiliate. I guess I was disappointed about it or whatever, and I talked to him briefly about it, and then he was like... Well, he didn't say anything. He just did this command in his chat that brought up his, like, very first follower and how long that person had been following him, and it said something like 7 or 8 years. And that's how long he'd been streaming. 7 to 8 years. Like 5 days a week. 9 hours at a time, all the time. And it's like, how does this guy do it? And then I'm watching him and I'm like, oh, well, he's not really drawing solidly the entire time. Sometimes he's watching videos, sometimes he's scrolling through social media. He actually, like, gets up sometimes, you know? And I thought, well, that's a good idea. So that's why on the weekend, I will actually kind of dink around on the longer streams. That's how a person can last that long if you take more breaks, which sounds insane. You feel like, oh, if I take more breaks, I won't get anything done. But taking a break is like essential, right? If I didn't see Woadworm take that many breaks, or like procrastinate, or do his usual thing where he will watch videos and look at pictures and things, then I would not do it myself, and it would never occur to me that I could do it. Yeah, he is definitely a powerhouse. But the strangest thing to think about it is he's only a powerhouse because he takes all those breaks. Meanwhile, I have a different technique. What I'll do is I'll just go solid for like 2 hours or so at a time. Maybe even up to 4, but then I'll cut it off. It's probably not as effective, but you know, say if we were on the track team Woodworm would be a long distance runner, and I would be like a sprinter. Anywhere from sprinting to middle distance running. Like, everybody has their own way of going about things, and I think the short sprint is so far the most effective for me. Because I do have, like, other activities that I have to balance. Like juggling all kinds of tasks, you know, that's every single day. And also, like, countering, like, any sudden obstacles or sudden emergencies, right? So how much time can I really dedicate per day uninterrupted? Something between 2 and 4 hours, but you know, even as little as 1. But I usually try to make it to 2. I feel like that's a reasonable amount to do 2 hours worth per day. I mean, avoiding burnout, it's just all about setting limits for yourself, right? Making a schedule, setting some kind of boundary. The rest of the way, you want to be able to keep going via the momentum you started. It doesn't have to be like a dead stop or anything. But yeah, definitely to protect one's mental health, it is good to procrastinate, take breaks, and not be so serious throughout. I think you and I had a similar conversation like a couple of weeks ago about like the types of art that we make, right? There's the fun art, right? And then there's like the work art. The thing is, we have to make time for things, you know? It sounds insane because we all feel like we don't have enough time. We don't have enough of anything. But, you know, how can we make these assumptions before, you know, actually divvying it up? You can't just look at a pie and be like, this is not enough pie. Or, you know, maybe more specifically pizza pie. Let's think really hard, really back. Okay, you ever go to a pizza party where there's only like 1 or 2 pizzas and you have to share it with the entire birthday party of kids or like the entire classroom? And what the teacher or the parent will do is just slice each pizza like in half. Like, the slices are already cut, but when it hits the table, they actually slice it even thinner. Hello, hello. Yeah, it's very cold there. It's very hot here. I was telling Woodworm the other day that I saw 2 people faint in the heat at a bus stop. The fire truck had to come out and the ambulance had to come out because, you know, the heat was so bad it gave one of them heart trouble. But luckily, help got there, like, pretty fast, I'd say. But yeah, I think somebody was asking me about it the other day. Because, you know, if you look at my regular social media, I don't really update it all that often with anything. Because I only put personal art on it. Sometimes I put fun art on it. I keep the accounts somewhat separated, somewhat different. The thing is, I can't really make work my identity, you know? I've got a friend who posts every single commission. Who posts everything he's ever done, you know, business-wise. And almost next to no personal art, next to no fun art. He's like, I don't even know how he's going. I don't understand how he's managed to keep it up this far. But yeah, life is not easy. It's super duper hard to balance. But yeah, if I can put it in other words, it's like, imagine if I was an insurance salesman. And then when I clock out and I go home and I am still wearing my suit, I still holding my briefcase, even like on the couch, even at my dinner table. I still try to sell insurance to my friends and family. That would be weird, right? I can't take the work home with me. I think part of the reason why some artists post everything is because they feel like they're not enough, right? Like by themselves. By themselves they're not enough, so they beef up whatever they got with the artificial stuff that's not really them. Yeah, it's hoping to get more work, you know? But yeah, imagine if I'm an insurance salesman and I dream about quitting my job and becoming something else, like a dentist. Or maybe even like a chef or something. But if I make my whole identity insurance salesman and I try to apply for a job at a kitchen or whatever and they look at me, they're gonna be like, oh, so you're here to sell me more insurance. I don't think you're fit for this job because I clearly see you and I don't think I don't think it's in you to do something else. A few other artists I know will have like different portfolios that they curate to send to different clients and art directors. Different industries and things like that. For like storyboarding or like for character design. You've struggled with this for years as art is your only income, so you focus on paid work, which means you never expand into other things. Only recently have you started trying to force yourself to do more personal art. I mean, I think it's important to do a little of this, or do a little of that. When always trying to make ends meet and physically limited, it's hard to have energy to get work done, let alone extra stuff. This is true. It's kind of unfortunate because one of my friends was in an interview not that long ago with somebody, and the person said, so where's your personal separate blog or whatever? Can I look at it? Like, you know, for your sketches and things. And they were like, oh, I don't have one. And they were like, you don't? And then they were like, okay, let me be real with you. I see tons of artists all the time who, they all can draw. They're all talented. They're all skilled. I'm sure they can get the work done. But I'm actually looking for, like, an artist we can vibe with, like, as a team. Like, who would get along with, like, the others. So sometimes the employers are looking for somebody with a particular kind of personality. Which is, like, also pretty bad for an artist because it's like, I feel like we put all of our personality in the art. So if you can't feel it when you see it, then I'm dead in the water. Sorry, I don't do anything else but draw, man. You're looking for a person who has hobbies. I do not have hobbies. I only have my work, which is the art. You know, others stuck in the same situation, yes. Well, you do your 9 to 5, and then you're just exhausted. If anything, you just want to lay down, you want to sleep, you want to not have to think about anything or grind over anything. But, you know, it kind of makes me sad because I think back to when art was something I did because it was entertainment for me, it was escape for me, it was something I really loved doing, it was not just work. Kind of like the equivalent of someone who grows food, but not for themselves, just to sell. It makes me feel like The Tree and the Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, or if you remember that book, where the tree gave and gave and gave until, like, in the end it was just a stump. Your last normal job, you didn't do art at all because you had 0 energy left over. Yeah, I've got a couple of friends who are kind of stuck in that cycle themselves. Which is unfortunate because for a lot of people, art is not just, you know, it is also like a coping mechanism, right? Like when they're growing up or when they're young in their 20s, they're drawing and making this art to cope with, you know, the big challenges in their lives, how they feel. It really is how they're expressing themselves, and when they enter this stage of their life where they can no longer do it because they're too tired, they're not coping, they're just taking the punches. Like they're too tired to put up their dukes and block the hits. No, a lot of things in life you can't really brace for. Hello, Snap. How's it going? I was just having a conversation here about being a journeyman boxer. I think it's all about knowing what your limits are and not setting the line to stop so close to where that limit is. You gotta give yourself some breathing room. Say there's an edge and a precipice, you know, you're like, oh, I can work right up to this very edge of this precipice. And this is the most that I can do, the maximum that I will do. And it's like, no, maybe you should be farther away from the edge than that. I always reach that point in my art where I could keep going, but I stop shorter than that. Yeah, sure, I could keep going for like another couple of hours, another couple of days, weeks even. What am I even trying to prove? I don't have to prove myself. I know I could, but is it good to do that? Is it necessary? Oftentimes, you know, it's like, yeah, no, it's not necessary. It stopped being necessary like hours ago. So it's like, you know, even if you could you? That's a separate thing. So people ask me why I don't go hard all the time. It's like, I don't think that's good to do. I don't recommend it for anybody. No judgment for anybody who has a day where they're a little bit extra sloppy. Or a little bit extra lazy. Yeah, just gotta be careful with oneself. if you work too hard, like so hard, you know, because you're a perfectionist and all that, you know, give your 110% every single time, there's eventually a negative, like a balance or a debt to yourself, you know, there's nothing left over. You had your hair cut and dyed it this afternoon. You do not want to know how much was spent today. I am assuming something along the lines of 200. It is expensive to do one's hair. Even doing it by yourself at home is expensive. My goodness. Having to buy supplies and things like that. So it's like paying someone else to do it for you. It's their wages plus the material. So I get it. Oh, less than that? Well, I guess it's better over there in Europe than it is here in America. So the reason why I said that was over here, sometimes it's like 30 to 40 for a cut, regardless of how lengthy your hair is. And then it'll be like another charge for styling it, whatever that means. It'll be also 15 for shampooing it, which they insist is necessary. I don't want them to touch my grimy head either. And then like a lot of dye jobs are between 60 and 90. I've even seen as high as 120. So that's how it is here anyway. That's a pretty good deal, I'd say. Comparatively to the pricing I listed for how it is over here. I have a friend whose mom is a hairdresser. I'm vaguely jealous. So my friend doesn't pay more than $3. Luckily, I don't have to do anything for a while. I only ever, like, clean myself up if it's time to, like, meet with family for some occasion. Which might not be more than, like, once a year, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it does save money to dye it yourself, though. But it is so hard to bleach that it is better to get it professionally done. So, I understand that you were, doing it very economically, very wisely, so no worries there. Yeah, pixie cuts are like the best cuts ever. If you need a cut to last a really long time. I feel like a lot of medium length cuts, like, they will grow out of shape within like a month or two. Which is such a waste when, you know, it costs so much to do it in the first place. You would essentially only do it for like an family photo or something, or a one-day event. Yeah, it's a pretty good option. It's very popular these days to get the dipped look. I see a lot of kids just dipping their tips in dye. Because, you know, it's easier to apply and easier to wash. Also, it's not as expensive since you only need to use X amount of dye for, like, not your whole head, but just the highlights, so... That's fairly reasonable. So, admittedly, my friend probably drew this character as like a visual novel anime love interest or something. But I don't really play those games, so I don't know how to make that look effective, so I've picked him up and dropped him in the 90s where he's fighting some dudes, so... You know, like he's in the Ninja Turtles or something. Don't be ashamed to stick to what you know. Well, your sister had good advice. It'll save you money. Fighting for love? Yeah, exactly. So, what's funny about that is, this dude, you know, the story is, for these characters, is like, he's going on a date with a dragon hunter. I'm gonna assume this is like the dragon hunter's ex, which is another dragon hunter, which would be awful, because this guy's a dragon. It's some sort of Romeo and Juliet, or... Okay, minus Juliet. Let's say it's Romeo and Mercutio. The true hot boy of the whole Shakespearean play. I was always like that though, you know, like I always go for the clown, you know? That weird emo goth boy thing that my friends were into, I didn't understand it personally. Also, Daniel from Karate Kid, he was, like, to me, he was the real villain of the story. He was a butt to his mom, he was a butt to his sensei. He was a butt to his girlfriends. Like, that dude was not a hero. I remember watching this one Karate Kid movie where he, like, destroys a 1,000-year-old bonsai or something, and I was just like so I was so like desolate, or whatever the word is, inconsolable. Just got some sad news from your sister. Well, if it's too personal, you do not have to share. I've got some family drama going on this side as well, but I will not mention it. But just as a brief footnote that I understand how it is. Oh no. Yeah, that is pretty sad. Which is unfortunate. I mean, like, guinea pigs are really long-lived, you know, for a pet. Yeah, poor little squeaker. Rest in peace, Cookie. No, it is definitely not. You spend so much time living with them and bonding with them, and then because they are so small and so tiny, their lives are shorter than yours. It's very interesting to think about, like, for them, their lifetime, you know, by the time they do pass away, they're like ancient. I have no idea what they think when they're looking at us, like, whoa. I wonder if humans are immortal. Hmm. No worries. The funny thing about that is, realistically, life is complicated. And it's got lots of layers to it. It's true to say that life is always sad, or always happy, or always frustrating, or always annoying, or always painful. Also, always beautiful. Like, all those things are true all the time. Kind of depends on what you want to concentrate on at any given time. Or what is, like, got you by the handles, I suppose. On occasion, you know, perspective-wise, you think, oh, you know, stuff is always changing, but, you know, maybe things are just always all those things all the time. And our attention span is only so good, so we only, like, see some parts at a time. I'm gonna have to do some selection here. Hold on a minute. Oh, I gotta zoom in. Woohoo! Remember when you were talking about that tangent? We'll check out this tangent. Alright, I'm gonna zoom out. Or not. Let me see what I can do here. A little bit of texture. Whoa! I wonder if Nah, I'm gonna see what happens if I put it behind it. There we go, that looks good. I'm gonna hide this again. I'm gonna grab this here. So what I'm doing is trying out different techniques for handling the deets. I guess I'll conclude this one too. Alright, textures. Ooh. Alright. You know, just vague. Little bit of eye friction. That's a horrible way to describe it, maybe. Oh, hang on, I'm gonna take a bite of something. No, they're right here. They was just taking a social media break. And a name change. Yeah, it's hermit crab now. So this is very personal to speak of, but we have a handful of people in our circles who have various forms of PTSD and schizophrenia. I don't know if Woodworm ever talked to you about his condition either. But sometimes when we go through a couple of things, yeah, I can just divulge it loosely. A common thing that will happen is we will nuke a relationship or burn bridges with people we know, and then it causes further fallout. But really what people need is just the slowdown and you know, taking a break thing. I am notorious for burning bridges. If you wonder about my friendship with Herb, he's like from the before times, as I'm going to describe it. When life gets really stressful and really hard, sometimes you cut all the ropes. Or you narrow in on like 1 or 2 ropes, and then you cut those loose. That's exactly it. So I cut all the ropes a couple of years ago. But luckily for me, my friend still has a rope for me. So even if me and Herb get into a scuffle, it's kind of like a Goonies never say die moment. I have not so far reached the precipice yet. However, it's gotten close a couple of times, and in those times I'm like, okay. So my rage-addled brain says everyone is my enemy, but the proof in the pudding, or whatever I'm gonna call it, is Herb has done this, done that, you know, all friend stuff that friends do. And if we weren't friends, then why does he do all that friend stuff? If this person was truly my enemy, where is all the enemy stuff? And it's easy to, like, zero in on the bad stuff, or the stuff that annoys us about people, or whatever, the stuff that rubs us the wrong way, and then, like, dims the light on all the good stuff they've ever done. And what will happen there is, just a major disconnect, right? There's just this major disconnect. There's just this major amount of confusion in moments of mental distress. And so far I've gotten around that by saying, okay, so even if Herb is my arch nemesis, and my greatest enemy, he's also my greatest friend. So I have this like thing going on in my head where, okay, so where like Magneto and Professor X, okay. Unfortunately, I am Magneto, so that's the kind of thing we got going on. So even if I'm super mad, I would still ride or die for Professor X, so that's fair enough, I'd say. And then when I calm down, we're more like, what is a good duo? Jake and, Finn. Finn and Jake. I guess that ties into what I said before, that sometimes things are all the things at once. It is very unfair to say that people are only their mistakes or only their flaws, because people are good things too. So, I've witnessed it offhandedly, well, not offhandedly, like third person style or whatever. I don't know how to describe it from the outside. And the inside. No one is perfect. How bad is the bad and does the good outweigh it? Yeah, you know, there's that too. We had a person in the community who was having mental health crisis, right? So he broke ties with somebody that was overwhelming him, even though this person was his friend. And then instead of avoiding a meltdown, there all of a sudden was multiple meltdowns, like a domino effect. And people took sides, but I did not take sides. It is kind of almost, you know, it's odd for me to say things like that. Like sometimes it's better to be quote neutral, but I'm not true neutral. Like I understand what happened there. Sometimes we lack the ability to communicate our needs. At the same time, we lack the ability to understand that sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's something else, sometimes it's them, you know? It's not really personal. So I have left a few discords and, you know, no hard feelings or anything, but I just can't handle all that much stuff going on all the time. I have a threshold for human interaction, and I don't know how my friends do it. So sometimes it's inconvenient, right? I've inconvenienced myself. Like here's the cost of what I've done is whenever there's something going on, I'm out of the loop because I've decided not to include myself. I'm missing out on important events in their lives. And I don't mean to, you know. But the thing is, we can't be there all the time. We can't be everywhere all the time. It's like when you think about a computer, and the computer has so many tasks it can manage, so many windows, and things like that. It gets hot, it gets warm. Eventually, the chips and discs on the inside start to bend, break, warp, crack, you know, because of the heat and pressure. And I never want to describe this in such a way that makes the existence of other people sound like a burden, because people are not burdens. I want to make a point of that, and then, sorry, I'm just doing some visual checks here, and then I can probably turn some of these off. Alright, I was just looking. Alright, where was I? We only have so much energy to give, and that can vary day to day, month to month, etc. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, that is true. If one has a lot on their plate to begin with, to add on more can be just too much. It happens that way for a lot of people. You try to do the normal thing, right? You try to be a normal person, or what you perceive to be a normal person. Normal, functioning, happy, healthy, friendly, and all that business. If you don't allow yourself enough room to be grumpy, tired, lazy, sad, angry, or antisocial, eventually those things will build up and then explode out of you and take over and then push all the other parts of you away. That's why a lot of people who are like, oh, sorry for venting, sorry for being sad, sorry for this, sorry for that. Like, it's like, don't be sorry. You gotta let it out somewhere, sometime. You have to be, first and foremost, forgiving to yourself. And, you know, I don't judge. I get it. Like, sometimes you feel like you need to pretend, like you need to be strong, like you need to present yourself in the best light possible. You feel like it's necessary to hold yourself together for the sake of, like, I don't know, other people. You're afraid that they will like you less or something. I don't know. Who knows why people really do these things? I'm not a psychologist, lol. I just acknowledge that people got stuff going on. If I look at my life and all the stuff that's going on there, I can look at another human being and be like, wow, who knows what's going on over there? It must be the same amount of stuff, maybe more, just different things. I would want people to forgive me for my shortcomings. So, personally, I will do my best. No guarantees to be aware of and be mindful and forgiving of other people's shortcomings. Since, like you said, it's day to day, you know? Stuff changes. You can't be on all the time, which I guess ties into the whole streaming every day and burnout thing. Part of the reason why I've managed to get on long enough and well enough is because I don't feel like I have to present myself in any particular way. Sometimes I turn on the computer and I put on a drawing program or whatever, and if all I can manage is like a scribble, sorry folks, this is what you're looking at today. You came in to see me doing something hardcore, but I'm painting a fish. Too bad, it's fish today. This is what's for dinner. You guys are eating the toast and ketchup today. I don't have the energy to open a can of soup. Anyways, additionally, I think it's important to present yourself naturally, because it lets people also, like, subconsciously acknowledge that they should also be natural. If everybody was masking all the time, if everybody was formal and put together and curated all the time, it gets into us thinking like, oh, this is normal. This is how we should always be, act, present, and all that. It just makes everybody stressful, like, all together. Like, this affects me, you, everybody. So, taking care of yourself and knowing where your limits and boundaries are is taking care of other people. So even if you feel like you're not doing enough for other people, actually, the truth is taking care of yourself is, in a way, taking care of them. No one can be high-strung all the time. I mean, there was somebody who mentioned to me one time that it would be better for being employable to hide any kinds of flaws that I had. But when you interact with someone often enough, like if you were to enter the workplace and be there all the time, you know, they're gonna come across it anyway. That whole stress where you're trying to avoid people seeing you at your worst, at your most vulnerable. It's detrimental to your health even further. Because, you know, it now comes along with this feeling of shame. and inadequacy. So yeah, I would prefer to avoid that for myself. So some days, yeah, I can be articulate and witty, and then other times I'm a zombie. Or maybe, you know, I'm delusional and I'm a zombie all the time. I just don't know it. We can never truly know how other people perceive us, so I think it's futile to try to control that image.
When you find your love, you'll find your song. Even though you've been digging through the break of dawn, you've been pushing and the push is gone. You think it makes you strong, but hold, nobody knows where it.
But yeah, it is fair to say some days are a ketchup toast day. And that doesn't mean it's gonna always be ketchup toast day. There will be days where it's like fettuccine alfredo, something really decadent, like lasagna or whatever. Being incapable and inadequate one day doesn't mean you're always like that. Now, the unfortunate part of some people not being here all the time is that they're gonna miss out on the context of some of the things I reference. Were you there when I was talking about, like, the one teacher that liked me and then the other teachers that were not so enthused about me? Oh yeah, this is Mako Shard's character. I'm doing an Artfight friendly fire attack. Oh, okay, so let me retell the story for context.
When there's nothing left to mediate.
In art college, I had one particular art instructor who was like always jazzed about my work, even when I was doing something awful.
Grow your hair and branches long.
Like, this dude believed in me. He believed in me 100% all the time, but it was only because he witnessed how good I was one time.
Nobody knows where it goes.
It was a live drawing session where we're drawing from a nude model, and I don't even know where I'm at that day, but I apparently knock out the bodily proportions and the curves and everything in one line. Like, and then another line, and then another line, just a few strokes. I've got the body down pat perfectly, no sketch. Not that that's something to brag about, but it was weird, right? And he just happened to be standing behind me when I did it. And all of a sudden I can hear the awe. And he walks, gets up really close to it, and he's like, "That's amazing. You got the iliac crest. Here's the curve of the pelvis. Here's the rib cage." He's like pointing out all these anatomical details that I knocked out in one stroke of the charcoal. He's like, "You have a very confident line. You can only do this if you know what you're doing." And then me, I'm like sweating because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just did it, okay? But fair enough, admittedly, I do make confident lines. Because if you let fear stop you, you will stutter, you will trip, you will fall. So if you don't want to do that, sometimes you kind of have to just let things go, flow. So anyways, and then a friend of mine, Kayla Mayer, I remember Kayla. Kayla was also there for part of it, walked up, looked at it, and was like, oh my god, that's beautiful. And that's like one more person who kinda sorta witnessed it, but the reason why it's so novel is that only one person saw it besides me. So let's jump to another one of my classes at around the same time. There's a teacher who's always disappointed in my work, always. Because you know, I'm the slowest person in class. It is watercolor class. I am not used to doing it because, well, traditional art costs money, and I don't often have money, so I can't afford the materials to experiment with. So this is my first time painting. Using watercolor paper, all that stuff, and he was like, okay, 3 minutes to do the sketch, and then do the wash. Of course, everybody finishes before me, and then like 20 minutes in, I'm still struggling. And he's like, do you know how to draw? And he just like, he didn't say it in a demeaning way. He said it like seriously, like, do you know how? And then he tried to show me, and I tried to follow, but I misstepped every step of the way. It was bad. He tried. He gave me a few minutes, and that was it. And then he gave up, right? But this is the funniest part. He goes to, I guess it depressed him to see how bad I was, because he went to the actual, like, best student in class or whatever at the time and watched them paint instead. This person's already good. They don't need to be in art school. What are you doing in art school if you're already good at art? Anyway, so he watches this guy to cheer up. And then he comes back, you know, later to my painting, and I have the best portrait in class. And then he's like, I don't know how you did this. And my classmates who watch over their shoulders what everyone else is doing, they just accept that I'm slow. They don't even think twice about it. They're like, oh, you're really good at faces. And I'm like, yeah. But this guy, because he didn't see the whole step, the whole process of how I got to where I was, I think it like, I don't know what was going on with that guy, but it happened to him more than once. He will try to watch me do what I do. He'll become depressed or disappointed with how bad I am. He'll look away, and then he'll look back again, and then I have something amazing. He was really confused, absolutely baffled. Yeah, definitely. It was like that. He was like, he would look at my art and be like, what the fuck? He's like, I don't know how you did this. And, the unfortunate part was, if he had just been patient enough or whatever, or just watched me the whole time, then maybe he would be able to understand it better. But he always got frustrated with watching me struggle and then would look away. So for him, it wasn't worth it to watch unless the perfection was instantaneous. But as you know, like, sometimes with painting, it's an exercise in patience. Like, you're gonna make a whole bunch of mistakes along the way, and you're gonna cover up those mistakes with more paint or something. And this is what I was doing. In a roundabout way, until it was right. So truthfully, I was not very good at watercolor. However, I was very good at gouache. Honestly, you hate when teachers would hover in high school. You would stop and stare at her when she did that. LOL, yeah. Anyways, this is the guy that stole at least 2 or 3 of my paintings. Probably to study. Probably to mull over the mystery of how I'd done it. But he should have watched me. Oh, yeah, yeah, exactly. He stole my paintings. Like, we turned them in, right? And we were supposed to receive them back. And I was going to gift mine to a classmate of mine. But she never got her gift painting because he kept it. Like, I don't know, evidence that there are Sasquatch and mermaids or something. I don't know. He kept the unicorn horn. What a crime. But anyways, he was frustrated for the rest of the time knowing me and trying to teach me to be good because, like, even though he acknowledged that I was the best portrait painter in school, he didn't understand or comprehend why I was good. Like, he didn't think I should be good because, like, I didn't have any, like, I didn't have, the composure? I don't know. I was sloppy. I was messy. I was gross, I guess. I was probably not what he expected or wanted from me as a painter. Yeah, art professors are definitely, and I went to a classical school, I guess, so they favored certain techniques and favored certain kinds of art more than others, even though they said everything is art or whatever. Anyways, to wrap up the story, the point of it is, yeah, sometimes you really are, like, the best in the whole entire universe. You max out your stats. Sometimes you hit that target so dead on, you split the arrow from the center with another arrow. It's possible. These things are possible. You can do it. You can be these things. You could be amazing. But, you know, alternatively, you are also, capable of being really bad at things some days, you know? Some days you will forget how to do anything, you know? Sometimes it's like you don't know how to do anything. And then other days, you know, like I said, the number one expert in the entire universe on how to do this thing. Nothing is really the same all the time. So it was really weird. I think about that one art professor who believed in me even though he never saw me do it again. Because he knew it was possible, and I think that is a good outlook to have. You have to consider the fact that you can do these things. It's inside of you to do it. So even if you are doing poorly, know that it does not represent you as a whole. It's like, oh, I know I'm sloppy and messy and bad at everything and depressing and whatever today. Today I am a broken person. But you know, you are not always this way. Your worst days do not define you as, like, a whole. It may not be the best method either to always think of yourself as, oh, this is the real me when I am excellent. When I am the most excellent, this is the real me. That's not fair either. It is better to take solace that You are more than this and more than that. You don't know shit, you're just vibing. LOL, yeah. That is a good way to handle it as well. Like, I usually just go into things and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing something and I'll see what it is afterward. But yeah, it is frustrating though if you want to be your most excellent bestest all the time. You just have to accept that sometimes that's just how it is. I try not to hold it against other people either. I don't ever want to be like, oh, I've seen you do better than this. What's wrong with you today? Like, wow. Wow. That's most of the time why I will delete messages from people when they say something with that vibe. I moderate several stream chats and like sometimes you'll get a viewer coming in who goes, "What's wrong with you today? Are you sick? Look at what you're painting, it looks so whatever." I will delete that comment right away. It's not really in any written rules, but like it's a pet peeve of mine. I don't think it's right to ask that kind of thing at people. Like, what kind of weird energy is that to direct? Yeah, exactly. Who talks to people like that? Like, why? Like, yeah, okay, you entered a chat where a person's not feeling very well and they're drawing some vent art. I mean, you guys know how it is. Sometimes you draw some vent art. And then imagine if somebody just goes, "Whoa, are you okay? What's wrong with you?" And then we have to hold ourselves back on the whole chronic thing, like, my existence is chronic pain and suffering. There's nothing particularly wrong with me today. Like, you think that it's normal me to not be like this, but yeah. I had my emotional support otter and isopod. Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine if somebody comes into my chat and goes, "Is there something wrong with you?" You're like hugging that plush animal very tightly, like you have a vice-like grip on that otter. I would be like, well, you think it's normal for me not to have a vice grip on a plush animal? You're so used to seeing me without it. You think that's the normal for me. But like, there is no normal, you know, for anybody. My chronic is extra chronic today. My brain is broken, ya dingo. Yeah, it is genuine, don't mind. Yeah, that is the thing. It's definitely unhealthy for us and our community to have to be curated all the time, or have to be Instagram perfect all the time. I highly advise against it. If you have to be sloppy today, be sloppy. If you have to be slow, be slow. Like, our other friend, right? Sometimes he'll be like, oh, I'm not getting anything done today. Oh, I'm so slow. Oh, this is taking me so long. I'm not getting anything done. It's like, hey, man. Hey. You're doing good. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't let the bad brain juice get you. In reality, your best is never the same thing every day. And we're always doing our best. Don't let the capitalistic pressure of constantly needing to be productive hurt you. Yeah, exactly. Don't let the capitalism inside of you seize the means of production. But yeah, I've learned a lot offhandedly by watching my peers. And the thing about watching a lot of people at the same time over a long period of time, you see everybody at a different place in their journey. So it's not that anybody is behind. You're not behind. Nobody is ahead. No one is ahead. You're all on different paths and in different places in your lives. BRB. Okie dokie. But yeah, it's good to be realistic. Coffee? Yeah, it's a good idea. Oh yeah, let me drop some coffee email for everybody. Served to you by Guy Fieri Piranha. Of course, all this weird chill vibe stuff I'm talking about is probably kind of ironic because my screen name is Rapid Punches. But I guess the trick there is like, not every punch lands. And not every punch is like a full force thing. I've made it to 2 hours and a half. Wow. Oh, he's got a little bit of a claw. I should probably put that on there. Most of the time when I'm going quickly, it has really nothing to do with being productive. Art is first and foremost how I cope with things. And how bad they are, and it will always be that way. So the more drawing and the more art I peel through, the better I feel mentally. Physically is a different story altogether. Unfortunately, that is different. And that's why I have to cut things short sometimes, or take a break and other things.
It's time.
Ah, welcome back. Hmm. Oh yeah, I should also mention again, if y'all weren't here before, this is my friend, Mako Shard's character, and, Mako Shard, like, put me in a whole, animation before, and I haven't drawn anything for him, so I'm gonna have to, like, I hope he likes this, you know? I'm gonna have to make him more things, really. Buy the instant coffee, held key outside in Hun. That's good. Here. Yeah, secretly I am also very good at drawing dragons, the same way I'm very good at drawing werewolves, but we're not really gonna talk about that at length. For all anybody else outside of here knows, I only draw fish. No one needs to know. LOL, evil face, exactly. Anyways, yeah, I don't think you guys were here when it came out, so yeah, there's the YouTube link to the animation that I was in. You'll recognize my voice immediately. So, the story behind the animation was this. My friend has anxiety, so what he'll do is, he'll get a co-host on to, protect him, I guess. Which I would gladly lay down my life to protect, my friends at random. So anyways, he's drawing, I'm drawing. Baby thimble, yes. And he goes, "Hey, Rapid, let's improvise. Let's do an improv." And I just, I'm going the flow. I'm like, okay, sure. And then it results in this a couple of months later or whatever. I'm like, what the? All right. We are going to... yes. Please do. My friend worked really hard on it. Alright, so we're going to raid Juliana. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for coming in.